Hello punters, welcome back to BSBZA Extra, and today is episode 3 of Rob Rants. We're going to be talking about YouTube, what you need to get started, what it's like, all of those kinds of things. I'm also going to be showing a kind of behind the scenes little tour of the studio setup that I have over here. Going to be playing some Sugar Rush 1000 in the background. It's probably going to interrupt story time like nobody's business. Got 4,000 Rand in the account. I'm going to kick it off for some normal spins. I think we'll put it on 500 for now. We'll probably jump into some quick spins a little bit later. I have 4,000 Rand in the account. It's a bit more than I was planning because my first deposit didn't go through correctly. And I was like, oh, now I'm going to have to contact Holly. I'm going to need to get them to sort it out. Make another deposit using a different deposit method. And guess what? That one worked. And then they ended up crediting it before I even needed to contact them. So it was just a couple of minutes. I should have waited. But anyway, so I've got some notes here, a couple of things that I am going to cover. The first one is about starting YouTube. A lot of people ask me about starting YouTube, what you need, kind of tips, advice, that sort of thing. So you don't need a whole lot to actually get started on YouTube. What you do need is you need a computer or a tablet. I think you can get away with doing it on a tablet. So a computer, a tablet needs to be a fairly reasonable computer. A laptop you might be able to get away with it if it is powerful enough, because it's the recording software and the editing software that is really important, and you need a fairly powerful computer or tablet to run that. So basically you need a tablet, computer, a microphone of course, a webcam, a couple of lights, and that is pretty much it for the hardware setup. Like I said earlier, you can get away with like not doing a few things. Like you don't necessarily have to have a webcam. I like doing my webcam stuff because it shows my actual reactions. My channel in the beginning was a faceless channel, and there's no problem doing that. It's a great way to start, and then maybe once you've made some money you can invest in a camera or something like that. But even if it's not a great camera, you can still do a lot with lights. So my camera I've got at the moment is an Elgato camera. It's a pretty good camera, but the lights make it so much better. So you can have like I said, an average camera, but if you've got some decent lights, it makes such a big difference. You can see some of my older videos, I was dark, it was a bit shadowy. Now it's pretty clear. I feel it could still be better, but I'm pretty happy with how things are there. So once you've got all the hardware stuff sorted, what you need next is something to record videos of, like the one you're watching right now. What I use is a free software called OBS. That's Open Broadcasting Software. That allows you to do both recording and live streams. Now, I was using different software in the beginning when I started the channel because OBS was like, I looked at this thing and I was like, geez Louise, I'm not going to learn that. I can't even read a 5-page book. How am I going to learn all of these stories? But there's so many different videos on YouTube explaining how the software works. And once you get the hang of it, it's actually not all that difficult to use. There's still a lot of things that I need to learn about it, but I'm an old man, I'm one of those old dogs. You can't teach new trick. You can teach the odd new trick to me, but not all at once. And it works perfectly for what I need. I don't think there's much better software than it out there for recording, especially ones that are free. This one is absolutely free. I'm not sure if it's free on something like your phone or something like that. I'm not sure if they have an app, but on PC it's free to download, free to use. I think it's available on both Apple and... Ooh, we got a feature, baby! We spun into a feature! I think it's both free on Apple and PC. Okay, that was software. Don't forget where you were now, bro. Rob, with your story. I was really hoping we'd spin into a feature here. It's a normal feature. It's not a super feature. I think you need a whole lot of those scatters for that super feature to trigger. And my luck has not been that great on Sugar Rush 1000 recently. I did pick up those monster wins on it, but since then, Since then, a couple of bonus buys, super bet bonus buys I'll add, have not been kind. And I'm playing on the same sites where I got done dirty. I won those nice big ones around Lula. I'm playing on Holly now. Because I don't think, I can't win 3 big ones in a row on Lula. I think my luck there is finished. pretty sislicka disgusting feature. 24 Rand. No sir, can't be having none of that. I don't know how many spins that took us. 45 spins, that's not too bad. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to up the stake size to 5 Rand a spin, and we'll do the same thing until we get a feature, or until I feel like we're not getting a feature, I need to change it. So yeah, going back to the software, OBS is great. You use that for all of your recording, and for editing you've got quite a few choices. You've got CapCut, lots of free software. I have a very old school paid software. It's Movavi, just because, like I said, I have so many things I need to learn for other things. I ain't got no space in this head to learn about things. But there is another software called DaVinci Resolve, which is also free. That's like similar to Adobe Premiere. It's one of your better editing softwares, but it is quite difficult to use, I think, for a newbie. Someone like me is just like, it's like reading a different language. But there are so many tutorials on how to use it. So if you're getting started, I would recommend getting OBS, getting a DaVinci Resolve. They are both free. They cost you nothing. There's no kind of like a free trial, anything like that. It is completely free. So once you've got those two things, you can start making and editing videos, which is then going to bring me on to my kind of behind the studios tour, which I will show you guys right after this tumble. There we go. Let's stop that one there. And let me just give you guys a quick look around the studio that I've got set up here, and you guys can see my setup. Let's wait for these things to go. They keep going, baby. I don't mind them going as long as they pay. Okay, there we go. Into the studio. Studio tour time. This is the studio study that I make my content from. I'll run through a couple of things with you guys, give you a quick little look around. Not all that much, but we'll start over here. Got my lava lamp. Love me a lava lamp. My MetaQuest. I posted a couple of videos of there playing Hot Fruit. And then this is my main setup. I've recently got the second screen over here so that I can start doing live streams again, because for the longest time I only had this one screen because I moved recently and I didn't have space for it, and it doesn't really fit on this desk, but I'm kind of dealing with it. Yeah, so I've got my main screen there, secondary screen there, a couple of lights. That's the camera that I use. Most of my stuff is Elgato. We've got my microphone and headset over there. I don't really listen to slots when I'm playing. So yeah, don't really use that much. And we've got some Lucky Charms down here, Lucky Sardine can, Lucky Fruit can, whole bunch of Lucky Charms. Look at those. Hope the sound's coming all right. I've got these lapel mics that I bought specifically for this kind of thing, and I don't think the quality is that great. But yeah, spinning around a bit. We've got my chair there. I've got a nice cushion for my mum. Keep it nice and cozy. And then we've got my knickknacks shelf where I've got all my little knickknacks and quickies. I'm busy putting in paneling. This is basically acoustic paneling on a cardboard. That makes sense. I'm sticking it on there. It's hoping to have it like wrap around. Let me show you from there, around there to the back over here, just to stop any echoes and that kind of thing while I'm making content, because that I do pick it up in some of the videos, but it's not annoying or anything like that, but it does annoy me when I have an echo. And the room I was in previously was much bigger than this, like I think about 4 times bigger. But yeah, onto the knickknacks. Got this little sandy thing, sand art thing. I think you guys will know this. I think this one is not working, so like you can put him up and he'll do his thing. There we go. I'm not going to leave him up because he's already half kaput and I don't want it to break any further. Then we've got my YouTube play button, my lucky shoe, some more knickknacks, a little bit of a clock, knickknacks. I love Gremlins and Back to the Future, 2 of my favorite movies. So I've got those quickies. I love owls as well. And more knickknacks. Down at the bottom we've got some candles, scented candles. I do love me some nice smelling things. And over here we've got a Lego which I recently completed. Was it Himeji Castle in Japan? Acoustic paneling that I must use. It's a light over there. This TV that I need to hook up at some stage, but I've got these things here that I'm still kind of unpacking. I've got clothes in there that I need to figure out a spot for. I need to figure out where I can put that printer. There's not a lot of space for that. I should probably put it somewhere over here, to be honest, but we'll get to that. Yeah, so the TV will probably stay there. and I use it to like watch sports and stuff if I'm busy working. And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. That is the studio. There's not too much behind me. If I just flip around over here, there's just basically a cupboard over there. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's my studio. Now, obviously, I've been doing this for a while. I'm going to have lots of nice hookies and things and a setup, but you don't need all of that. But you do need, the basics that I mentioned before. So let's move on to my next thing. How much work goes into a YouTube channel? So I often get asked the question like, why don't I post videos every single day? And there's a couple of reasons that I don't. The first one is it's pretty time consuming. It takes it doesn't take that long, but it takes time to, have free space to sit down and film or record. For me, it needs to be quiet. I need to do it in a quiet time where I'm not going to have noises. I'm not going to have distractions, because I like to have my videos flowing free, not too many cuts in them, that sort of thing. It feels like a live experience, if that makes sense. So you need to make time for recording, and then you need to make time for editing. Now, I'm not great with my workflow. If I record a video, I sort of need to edit it right away. Otherwise, it's going to sit there. It's going to end up in drafts. I'm going to forget about it. And by the time that I release it, it's not that it's going to be dated, but maybe I won't have a beard. Maybe I'll have a full beard. Maybe, it just looks kind of weird. I'll be talking about things like, I haven't one in so long. But in reality, I'd have one a few weeks after I'd made that video, and you guys might have seen that one instead of the other one. So that's what it's like when it comes to making time for recording. Editing doesn't take too long with the style that I do, but I do like to run through everything, make a couple of adjustments with audio and all of that. And you can do all of that, like I said, on a program like DaVinci Resolve. If you've got the money, get like Premiere Pro from Adobe, those kind of things. But like I said, so many free ones out there. So most of the time is spent on editing and recording. And then there's a whole nother section where you're going to have to upload your video. You're going to need to create video descriptions. And importantly, you are going to need to make thumbnails. Now, I don't like making thumbnails. It's the worst part for me. But a thumbnail can make all the difference between a video doing well or a video not doing well. I had a thumbnail artist for a while, and he did decent stuff, but he made the stuff kind of clickbait. If you guys go back a couple months in the channel, you'll see it stands out. And the thumbnails were great, but they were kind of clickbaity. And I didn't like that. I don't like to have any clickbait kind of stuff on my channel. And a couple people complained, and I do read pretty much most of the comments. And I took that to heart and I agreed with it, and I stopped using it. Also, I had to pay the guy, which I'll get to a bit later on when it comes to earnings and stuff like that. And it wasn't cheap to have a thumbnail artist. Now, you get a lot of people saying, bro, Rob, I'll do it for like 200 Rand or something like that. Trust me, you need to pay for decent quality. I can't quite remember what I was paying this guy. I think it was about 300 Rand a thumbnail, which is quite a lot of money when you consider what that video is going to earn. So you're putting you're already like putting yourself in debt before that video's come out. So I now do the thumbnails myself. I would like to have someone to do them, but it's sometimes I'll make a video and I'll post it right after I've made it. And I don't have time to wait for someone to make that thumbnail. I like quick, fast work, that sort of thing. I don't like to wait a couple days. It ruins my planning, that kind of thing. So I'm no longer paying anyone. I'm not really looking if there's someone out there that wants to. Unfortunately, I'm not really looking for someone. But yeah, you can do a thumbnail yourself. There's lots of different programs for that. You can just Google that. There's so much information, guys, available on YouTube. You can become a flippin' Albert Einstein in physics and black holes and E=mc² if you go onto YouTube. I've learned so many things. I had my flippin' toilet that busted out the other day. Couldn't get a plumber. So I learned how to pretty much replace everything in my toilet. I replaced the inlet flow. I replaced the outlet. I replaced the pipe to the wall. I didn't know how to do any of these things, but YouTube showed me how to do it. So it's a great tool that I do recommend you use if you're looking for any information. There's some very good videos, and that's what I use myself if I'm trying to learn about something. So yeah, so I covered the thumbnails, covered the kind of editing, creation, content creation process. And another point is why I don't post so much is this is not my full-time job. I would love for this to be my full-time job, but the reality is we are posting on YouTube, which is owned by Google. It's their platform, and we're posting gambling. It's something that I am prepared to have disappear overnight. It's something that I've come to peace with. So if my channel were to disappear because Google changed their policies on gambling, which I think is going to be happening soon, and I'm not sure how strict they're going to become on it, but yeah. So if something like that happens, then the channel could disappear. They could delete it. They could remove it. People get, like other content creators, myself included, get strikes for all sorts of nonsense. So you get strikes for copyright. So I have to pay a copyright fee because certain games have certain music, and I have to pay. I can't remember how much it is I'm paying, but I'm paying that every single month so that I can have those games with the sound on. Otherwise, my video will get copyright claimed. I'll get a strike against my channel. Get a certain number of strikes against your channel. Your channel it's gone. It's like your balance playing hot fruit on Privé. It's weg. It's gone. There's nothing you can do about it, which is one of the realities of YouTube, which is why this is not something I would do full-time personally for gambling. If I wasn't a gambling channel and I had the subscribers that I had now, maybe I was a food or a travel or something like that, and that's a completely different story, because that's, I don't think you ever need to worry about going away. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't gone full-time on the channel, but it does take up a lot of my time. That's why I post videos on a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Sunday. Sometimes I'll post some bonus content like this BSBZA Extra one you're watching right now. Maybe something really crazy happens in a session and I've got content planned out, I'll drop that. But generally I do 3 videos a week. And something like subscriber big wins takes me many hours to put together. So if you're seeing a 2-hour subscriber big wins, it's probably taking me 4 or 5 hours at least minimum to put that video together. That requires a fair bit of editing. There's lots of different nuances around it. I've got to check the replay. Well, I don't check the replays beforehand, but I've got to, I've got to randomly select a replay first, because I do select every replay randomly. Then I load it up, and then I've got to edit out all of that stuff in between the replays. So that takes up quite a lot of my time, which is why there is a bit of a delay when they are coming out, and that's why I've made some longer ones, because sometimes I'll just sit the whole day and do like a 2.5 hour one, and that will take me literally the whole day to record and edit, and that's why my voice and my throat starts going out during the video. Yeah, so it can be quite a lot of work, and I've got a full-time job on this, or let's not call it on the side, that needs my attention as well. Luckily it's not as demanding as most other jobs, but it does also take up a lot of my time, and it is a fixed source of income. So it's something, come on, drop a feature for us, baby, please. It's something that pays the bills, if you know what I'm saying. Yo, we've got to be so close to a feature. We are so close to a feature. Come on, baby. Yo, this is tumbling for days. This is going. Come on, drop that extra scatter. Yes, that was the best shot at a feature, man. Ooh, yeah, so I've got a full-time job. I don't do this full-time. I would like to do this full-time, but due to those problems I mentioned earlier, it could just, like, YouTube could disappear at any point. Well, not YouTube. Gambling on YouTube could disappear. I mean, it's happened on Twitch. Twitch banned it. I'm sure YouTube could at some point as well. And those are the factors that I keep in mind. I'm not someone that's going to take such a big risk. And I'll talk a little bit about the financial side in the next bit. But some advice for someone starting would be just, start and be genuine, be yourself. There's a lot of people out there. I mean, if you want to play demos or explain people how the games work, I think that's a flippin' great idea for a channel. Some of my early videos, some of my best performing videos are ones where I explained how the game works. You don't even need to spend any money on the game yourself. You can load up the demos on Hollywood or on the Habanero site or on the Pragmatic Play site, that kind of thing. And you can just explain to people, this is how hot fruit works. That kind of, and build your channel up like that. You don't need a webcam, that sort of thing. But it is not easy. I will tell you guys, it will take a long time to get growth, and it doesn't matter how big you bet or how small you bet. It's a lot to do with your personality, how you present your videos, that sort of thing. I'm very consistent with my presentation and all of that, and I have a lot of commentary. That's my thing. I'm talking throughout the video. So you want to have a personality around your channel as well, not just a bra in the background saying, yes, stars. Yes, we got, now there's purple ones. Oh, that one's finished. Yeah. Oh, let me blow my nose. We need a... no, we didn't get... yeah, so you got to have some personality. You need to keep people engaged. So my advice would probably not to be to start a gambling channel if you are looking to start a channel. But I only know gambling. I don't have any other kinds of channels, so I can't really give you advice on niches and stuff like that, because I know there's like so many different creators now for gambling and for everything really. I mean, when I started, I think it was myself and there was like maybe 2 other people, and most of them fell off. They just stopped making content because it's going to take you a long time to grow. I had a lot of growth in the last 2 years. Before that, yeah, it took an age to grow the channel, but you have to start. And the most important thing is to just start. No matter what channel you're doing, upload your first video. You're probably going to get no views on it. Doesn't matter. Don't care about the views. Care about improving, learning things, making your content better, that sort of thing. And then once you get to a certain point, you'll have an audience, and your audience will give you lots of feedback on your content. And that's a great way to improve. But you just have to get started. That's pretty much what it boils down to. And what was the next thing I wanted to cover is money, of course. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about money, but I am going to talk about things like sponsorships, why it's a lot harder to be a casino gambling YouTuber in South Africa than it is in other countries, because I know those dudes in other countries, they're making insane amounts of money. So when it comes to earning money on YouTube, the majority of the money that you are going to earn as a content creator is going to be from adverts. The adverts that popped up in this video, the adverts that popped up in other people's videos, that's where your money is going to come from. Now, because you're in South Africa and South Africans are watching, we don't have the highest rate that we pay. So basically it's like a rate that they pay per 1,000 views. Let's say it's like 50 Rand. I think 50 Rand is pretty accurate for 1,000 views. So if you do a video that does, let's say 10,000 views, it's going to earn you, in theory, in South Africa, on certain types of content. Obviously there's different types that do better, like tech does really, really well. That's probably like a couple 100 Rand for those views. You'll earn 500 Rand. Now with gambling, this is where the problem comes in, and it also comes in with the whole sponsorships. So gambling, you have to spend your own money to make content, unless you're playing demo or you're doing those how-to guides or something like that. And that's the biggest hurdling block when it comes to making content on YouTube and Twitch, any sort of medium like that, is that you're going to have to make your own deposits. So I've deposited the 4,000 Rand myself. That's not sponsored by anyone, and that's where a lot of creators can get burnt. That's why I think if you're going to start, play with what you'd normally play at. Don't bet bigger. Or like, what I don't understand is there'll be people betting like hundreds of rands, and you're probably thinking, oh bro, Rob, you're one of them. But I'll get into that. There's people betting hundreds of rands that want to start a YouTube channel per spin, but they're never ever going to see anything like that back from YouTube. It doesn't matter how big the channel gets. It's never going to justify losing 20, 30,000 Rand a session. It's just not in South Africa at least. In the US or something like that, or if you've got a US or a worldwide audience of, let's call them rich countries, you know, where the people earn a lot more than we do here, then it is sustainable. But in South Africa, it is not. So sometimes I don't understand why people do that. But then on the flip side, there's also a lot of opportunity, I feel, for people to play or make content around small betting, because 90% of the people watching this are people that are betting less than a Rand a spin. I'm sure that's the case. That's how I started my channel. My channel, I was doing 120 Rand bonus buys. I was doing 60 Rand bonus buys. Like stuff that the everyday punter does. And I think that's a great idea for a channel. Is not to be like super budget or anything like that, but it's not necessarily about the stake size. if that makes any sense. So going back to the earnings part, so we need to spend our own money to make this content, which is where the problem comes in, because if I make a video and that video is not really that good, it's probably not going to get that many views, which means I'm not going to get my return that I put into making that video back. So let's say like I said, I'm earning 50 Rand for 1,000 views. If I post a video that gets 20,000 views, that's going to pay, like in theory, 1,000 Rand. But if I start that video with a balance of 2,000 Rand and I lose that balance, I'm actually down $1,000 because I might get 1,000 Rand back if the video does pretty well, but there's no guarantee of that. And I've lost 1,000 Rand to make a video. So that's why I have increased my stake sizes over the years, because you'll have noticed I started, like I mentioned earlier, a bit small, well, quite a lot smaller, and I've got it up to around the 15 Rand a spin mark, where I can afford to have a few videos that lose and that kind of thing, but I know that at the end of the day I'm getting X amount at the end of the month, and what I'm making on my videos is going to cover that. YouTube have all these nice analytics on your back end, so you have a pretty decent idea of what you're going to be getting from YouTube at the end of the month. And I try to not exceed, I try not to, it's going to sound crazy, but I try not to lose or stuff like that around, my cutoff is generally around, I want to say 25,000 Rand a month. So if I've had a terrible, horrible month of losing, I won't want to lose more than 25,000, because that means I'm then, risking the money that I've earned on YouTube. So that will give you somewhat of an idea of how much you can make from it. But at the end of the day, you need to, balance all of that up. So if I've made, let's say I've made 30,000 Rand in a month from my YouTube channel, but I need to then subtract how much I spent on actually making videos. So if I've spent 25,000 Rand, that means I've only actually made 5,000 Rand from my channel. And for 5,000 Rand might seem like a lot of money to a lot of people out there. And the number honestly is a lot bigger than that, that I make. But at the end of the day, my full-time job also pays more than that. And the time that I put into this, if I put that into my full-time job, I would be making more money, if that makes sense. But I do this for fun. I do this because I love the audience. I do this because I have a blast doing it. I've got an awesome community. But that's a financial side. You're not going to make as much as you think, because there are expenses involved, which then brings me into sponsors. Now, a lot of overseas content creators are sponsored by, let's say like Stake, for example. You see some of those big streamers are sponsored by Stake. They'll get, let's say, $100,000. And Stake says, cool, you can keep 10% of whatever you win. Now, we don't have that in South Africa. South African sites are not interested in doing those kind of sponsorships. It doesn't matter how big you are. I'm still discussing back and forth. It's been going on for months with a potential sponsor, kind of like my dream sponsor. But the restrictions there are, so they'll give me some money to play with every month. It's not going to be anywhere near what I would usually spend. So let's say they'll give me 20,000 Rand a month of actual money that I can withdraw if I win. Because my thing is, I'm not playing with demo. I'm not playing with 10% or anything. If I win any money from the money you give me, I have to keep all of it. That's how I always approach these things. So I've been in talks for a sponsor for a while. It's back and forth, because it's, I don't want to go into too many details. It'll probably be revealed in the next 2 months or so. It's not something that's going to change all that much for the channel. It will help me basically pay bills, and they'll give me a couple of bucks, and they'll give me, I think, a couple of grand every month to give away. So one of the things is that I always, when I'm speaking to a sponsor or someone that wants to do something, a collab, the first thing I try and get is a good deal for the audience, for you guys watching. And I make sure that it's a site that I trust, that I know, that I use myself. So if I recommend them, I'll be like, hey guys, go over to Rob Bets. You're going to get 50 spins. I'll make sure I'm going to get you free spins or something like that. Because a lot of these sites that don't actually want to do that, they're like, oh, just promote us. Just say Rob Bets is a cool site to go on, that sort of thing. I'm like, no. You got to give the Mensa watching something for free. That's always pretty much the first point that I cover when I am speaking to sponsors. A lot of the time, I haven't done too many of them. I think I've maybe done about 10 over the years. And I haven't been paid a cent for them, in the sense of they'll be like, cool, we'll give you 5,000 Rand in your balance to make a video for us. And if you make that video, then you get to keep whatever's left of the balance. Kind of like subscriber keeps the balance. That kind of idea. Which then puts a lot of pressure on me, because I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, that that video is going to come out as a banger. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it works out really well and I pick up a big win and I walk away with a lot. But other times I end up with a video that I just got chowed in, and I'm like, yo, you guys are not going to want me to post this, but I'm not now then going to put in my own money to make something that's going to make you guys look good, because it's gambling. It is what it is. Also, these sites, they don't fix any of the games for content creators. A lot of people think that's completely untrue. If they were to do that, they would be in for a world of regulatory hurt. They would be in so much trouble with the gambling board and the government. And also that just, there's no point for them doing that. Not for a content creator. Oh, I'm speaking a lot in this one, aren't I? How long are we going for? 30 minutes already. Jeez. Yeah, so we don't really get sponsorships like that, so it's quite difficult. I do get sponsorship offers where they'll offer me some really, really good, like insane money, like money that if a decent South African site were to offer me, I would take straight away, because it's money that would actually, I don't want to say change my life, but I'd be like, wow, okay. It's like if you kind of money. I'll do that. But it's always from dodgy sites. It's always from sites that aren't licensed in South Africa. So I don't trust them. I can never promote a site like that. So unfortunately, I have to turn all of those deals down. But most of the time, someone will come and say, hey, you know, bro, Rob, we'll give you 5,000 Rand or whatever it is to play on Bra Rob bets. And I'll negotiate with him so that I can keep whatever's left and that sort of thing. And then I'll be like, cool, you must get free spins. But the thing is, that is not very consistent. It doesn't come through all that often. So, nothing on that one. So it's not something that I consider reliable income. It makes up a very small percentage of what you'll make on your channel. And you'd think that these sites would be wanting to do that a lot more. And there are some that do, but I don't want to promote the same sites over and over and over. It gets annoying to me, especially when the sites don't have games that I want to play. Or they want me to play games that I don't like and that kind of thing. So there's also all of that to take into consideration. So we don't get special deals from bookies. I don't even get special deposit options or offers. If a site said, hey, we'll sponsor you, we will give you a 100% deposit match on every single one of your deposits, I'd be like, you know what? That's pretty sweet. Work out a deal for the audience as well. And I'll look at doing that, because then that gives me more money to make more content with. And that's basically what it boils down to at the end of the day. Money comes in, use that money to make more content, and it's just a big cycle. So it goes on and round and round. So you never walk out with what you make at the end of the month when it comes to, like, if you make 10,000 Rand, you're going to have other expenses. Maybe there's an odd sponsorship on top of that, but maybe you made nothing from that. What I would like to see is I'd like to see these sites actually paying people a fee, like an advertising fee, like an influencer fee or whatever it is. So how I feel, and you call me greedy, but I feel I should be given a balance to play with that I can keep, and I should be paid a fixed fee for that content that I'm doing or promoting, whatever it is for your sites. That way, is if I lose or the session goes pear-shaped, I've still been paid. I don't have to worry about it. That's a net positive for me. Whereas a lot of the time it's a net zero, which doesn't make sense. And then these people, all sorts of nonsense they want. And yeah, so that's why I don't really do too many of them on my channel. But they are out there, but they are not as generous as people think. Another option is affiliate marketing. I've done that a couple of times with promo codes, but I usually work out a deal with them where I get a lot of free spins, and the promo code is pretty much there so they can track everything to see how effective, you know, the campaign would be, and that then decides if they'll give me more campaigns in the future or not. So I don't make very much off the affiliate stuff. It's something that I do for work already, so I I know how much, like, I know the numbers needed to even make decent money on that. And as big as this YouTube channel is, it's not big enough for me to bring in enough, like, signups, for example, to make money in affiliate marketing on it. And also, you can't post links and things like that on YouTube. And it's not easy to get people to sign up when there's no link, because yeah, you can get in trouble, get your channel removed. It's happened to quite a few other content creators as well. Yeah, so that I think pretty much covers most of the topics that I wanted to talk about. I mean, we've covered the setup, my setup. What else do we have? How much work and time goes into a YouTube channel? Sponsors and earning money. I mean, I have memberships on my channel. I turned that on when my channel wasn't making much money, and now I just do a members keep the balance giveaway kind of thing, where I just give all of that back. I don't really want to talk about how much I personally make on it. When my channel gets deleted or something like that, then I'll do it. But you know, people can be jealous, they can be nasty. But what they don't realize is all the money that is spent on the channel. So I mean, like I said, you guys would have seen that years ago my stakes were smaller, and as I started making more money on YouTube, I started increasing my stake size. I'll never be able to get to like 100 Rand a spin constantly every single video, but I can now afford to occasionally dabble in some privé here or there, do a couple of crazy things. You know, I can afford to lose 10k in a session, for example. I can't afford to lose that every month, but I can, you know, every couple of months or something like that, I can afford to do it. But yeah, I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's been a pretty cease-licker 5 Rand a spin over on Sugar Rush 1000. So I think I'm just going to buy, I'm going to buy 2,000 Rand. Ooh, even that's a lot. Let's do it. Let's risk it for the biscuit, because I've pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover in this episode 3 of Rob Rants. Not really a ranty one. It was more one just running through some of the details, some of the behind the scenes. And I've got a flipping itchy foot over here. Now that I don't need to think that much, we'll get into a 2,000 Rand super free spins buy to close this off. I've not had luck on this recently, and it's only 3. All right. Lucky charms. Lucky charms. Lucky charms. It's gonna. Ooh, we're looking at like a 2006. We were looking at a big loss until I decided to do this. Oh, let's see. Oh dear. Not liking this. Not liking this. This is looking like that 24 Rand dud that we had earlier. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oranges are going to pop at the bottom. Can we get some hearts? We don't get the hearts. Reds will pop, okay. Can we get some stars to drop as well? Oh, those hearts are not in a good position. Still asking for some stars. We get stars and not in the right spots. Ooh, we are looking at a nasty loss here. 5 spins. There's still time. Respins, baby. We need you. That's 2 teasers. Don't want to see that. There's some reds. Okay, purples as well. Anything else? Hey, geez Louise. This is not what I wanted to end this video off with. Drop some reds. There's a couple of reds. We need ones and nice. We need some jellies over there. We get not enough jellies. Got some 32 times I can get hits. 2 spins left. No respins on the horizon. And that is 264 Rand from a 2,000 Rand free spin bonus buy. The next one's 1,500 Rand. Well, I'm not going to be doing that. Unfortunately, another session where we got chow, but it was more about talking about all of the YouTube stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. Give me some ideas for episode 4, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Cheers.